line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's race day. 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 Crank it up.
Emotions may run high here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are live here at Richmond Raceway in Richmond, Virginia, and tonight's showcase here of the Global Strategy Team Next Gen Cup Series of GOAT Racing League's Cup Series right here on PT Race TV. Hello, everyone. I am the Crusader Christian Schreiber, joining you guys live here today on the call here as we get set on the action, set on to the distance. It is going to be a wild one tonight in what could be a no-holds-barred little fight out and shootout between these drivers. Time to take a look at our starting lineup here tonight, presented in part by Jack Racing Collectibles. And on the pole here, it will be Tyler Dalton, your number 1 seed yet again. You maybe notice a batter with him as of late. He'll be on the inside with Scott Simley on his outside, piloting the number 7. And row number 2, then it is the 35, a Chad Coleman to the outside. And the number 15, it is Joe Hudson. Row number 3 is the 43, Samuel Harrell to the outside. In the number 12, it is Aaron Action Jackson. Row number 4 is the 8 of Maurice Burnett to the outside. In the number 42, it is Dakota Kramer. Row number 5, in the 24, it is Cody Sturgill to the outside. The 44, Christoph Hall. Row number 6 is the 89 of Russell Ottaway to the outside. In the 22, it is Alan Wild. Row 7 is the 23 of Charles Van Schaik in the outside of him. In the number 18, Philip Schmitz. Row number 8 in the 6, Gavin DeRue. The outside, the number 10, it is Ryan D. Cook. Final starter of the field in the 36, Richard Crane. Your field of drivers masquerading around the track and ready to file them on down into the circuit. 240 laps to the distance here today. Stage cautions at lap 60, 130, and then 110 laps to the shootout there. No room for error here on this track, and no room for mistakes. They're about to find out why in just a few short minutes. all have a part in their story here on the track. All have a chance to make a run for it today. No regrets and nothing left to be held back on this kind of racing action, this kind of predicament. Every driver for themselves, nothing seemingly off the table for it being a short track. Many drivers may find themselves using the old chrome dome of that bumper a few times on these guys just to get around them at places. I'll say right now, though, I look for turn number 2 to really be the area where most drivers get caught in trouble early. I think turn number 4 will be where you see a little later on the drivers starting to really kind of tone in and really figure out to gain a little bit extra speed. But I feel as though turn number 2 is where most issues are going to lie and where most of the chaos can ensue. You got to remember, going from a progressive banking end turn down into that flat bank there off the backstretch, it really forces drivers to press their luck and push themselves into a whole other dimension of speed. Off turn number 3 to turn number 4, though, it is time at last. Race fans, Richmond, Virginia, get on your feet. Time to go racing. Goat Racing League Junction Cup Series are on their way. Hard driving out of the gate here. Richard Crane right now trying to get his 36 out of the pit stall there. You see him coming down to the track now, leaving pit road. Battle up and ahead and in the binders here right now out of the gate. It is the 12 of Aaron Action Jackson with Samuel Harrell in that 43 driving the Allegiant car today. Bit of a look on that one. Oh, and there's already a bumper being used up. Well, it is a contact sport for a reason, and Aaron Jackson reminded Samuel Harrell that maybe in a way I don't think Samuel was wanting to be very appreciative of. Got tagged there entering in turn number 1. Both drivers keeping their cool, though. Chad Goldman right now kind of laying low for the most part here, not trying to do anything too crazy or too obnoxious here. Probably trying to stay clear of Simley and Dalton, but keep his draft up so he can keep the pressure on. You can see the RPMs there on the right side of the screen, bottom right of your hand there. Interesting throttle rhythm too when you hear them kind of cornering out. Again, usually short tracks we've heard them actually have to shift in and out just to get more speed going. Seems as though they don't have to really worry about that here with this next gen Cup car. That's giving these guys all the speed, the momentum they need to carry through in some of these areas and these corners, helping them out a lot more often than not. Coleman, Simley, Dalton separated out by only a mere under half a second, about 4/10 of a second. Simley, a little bobble off turn number 2, though, slows him down as well. Meanwhile, the back of the pack here, in the middle of the pack, Aaron Jackson, Samuel Harrell going at it. Dakota Kramer following behind. Here comes the number 8 of Maurice Burnett in the 3G8 on the outside with that 24 of old Sturgill, Cody Sturgill to be exact. Looked like he may be already trying to make some moves here and make some drives ahead. He's gone one spot up so far. Let's see how gently kind of gets back in the throttle too. Maurice Burnett currently falling back just a little bit more. Christoph Hall catching up there with him. Scott Simley starting to fall a little bit further back. Tyler Dalton's just starting to now get into his usual performance mode as the rest of the field just kind of trains and lanes around and kind of hangs out down there. The only fans, number 42, Dakota Kramer in the Chevrolet. Clint Camaro right now watching on as Aaron Jackson sneaks to the inside. Big jump on the bottom there. He'll take control over Samuel Harrell. And Samuel right now got to be really paying attention to his line, really paying attention to every little angle. This next gen Cup car For a car, honestly, in my opinion, that you would think looks and design-wise could resemble the old days in a modern form in terms of the look of it, it's honestly not been the best in terms of the short tracks anyway on the IRL circuit. iRacing, it's a bit of a mixed bag too. It's been hard to really find a really good race with these short track with this car, in my opinion. But again, that's just my opinion. I have been very outspoken about how I feel about the car. But so far, I mean, it has not been horrible. But Richmond's honestly one of those races that I actually kind of like with this car and this idea. Because really what it does is it really makes the fuel strategy, the tire strategy, and everything come together. It actually comes full circle to where, yeah, the racing isn't necessarily as strong in terms of side-by-side. But what it does create is tension in the air to see what happens or what comes up when the time comes to make a move or make a run for it. That, to me, is where the fun really kicks off. Michael Bollinger says, talk to you tomorrow night. Yeah, we'll have Michael on the broadcast booth with us tomorrow night as we give you Pedal to Metal Racing League at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Also, on our Twitter handle, we made a little, kind of obvious teaser there. We have something coming up for you Friday nights, starting March 3rd. Stay tuned for us here. We will be with you guys that time and evening, and we have something very, very special to announce to you and showcase to you guys here on the broadcast channel when the time comes. But it's certainly going to be an exciting time here on Pizza Race TV. Speaking of exciting time, a little bit moving off the bottom of the corner here. Turn number 2 is Christoph Hall now making a bit of a jump. Solo run, but not on their man. Here comes the number 23 Black Lives Matter of Charles Van Schuyck. Now, I'm just going to refer to the car as the BLM number 23 just to make it a little easier on myself here. But that 23 Ford Mustang right now, obviously still pushing up the speed on the number 489 of Russell Ottaway as the Sweetwater finds himself trapped in between with the BLM and the Castrol GTX number 6 at Cameron DeRue. And here's another guy too. We talk a lot about him last season, you know, when he was just muscling through the paces and through the spots. Cameron DeRue is not one of those guys that can take lightly here. He's another guy that you give him a chance, you give him an opportunity, he knows how to really make the best of his time on the track. And he's trying to show it here by just making complete control of the runs and the speed he's seeing off of Charles Van Schuyck here. But again, way, way too early to be giving a full judgments or full ideas of who is bringing out the most speed, the most power. It all hinders on one thing, and that is later on when they start to really make charges here. But honestly, it seems to me like that backstretch into 3 and 4, they're not getting nearly as much power and speed as they would on the front stretch to turn 1. To be honest, I'm not totally sure. Maybe that's just a little bit of a letdown or a little bit of a bite down on the cars. Again, that forward bite on the nose of these cars here, they can get a lot of grip when they break it and then slam down on the gas pedal again, letting the rear end kind of slip out just enough. But it seems though these drivers are taking it really easily through the turns and through the corners, probably conservatively here, and probably trying to avoid any issues or skirmishes that they can't get themselves out of later. Scott Simley and Tyler Dahl right now separating each other out. You can hear the throttle rhythm and the feathering there. Looks like Simley trying to make a little bit of a comeback trail there for a couple laps, and he's still on the tail end of Dalton. Dalton's kind of hard to tell, man. Sometimes he's really just playing possum with everybody. Sometimes he's just making sure he's keeping his distance and making sure that he's not letting anybody get too close to him. Simley, he's kind of a, I'm not want to say kind of a one-trick pony. I like to think of Simley as kind of that guy that you just know what he's up to and you know what he's going to try to bring to the table. But the problem is that even though you know what he's going to bring to the table, it's a matter of making it actually work when he needs it to. Listen to how soft and gentle he's getting in and out of that throttle rhythm. And again, notice something. He's not shifting down. He's not shifting up. He's in 5th gear, which is the highest gear you can go. But he's not shifting down at all. He's just keeping it nice and smooth, feathering it every now and then just to make sure the car can take a set, get himself wrapped back up, and trying to hunt down the leader. Lap 60 again is where we will be calling a stage caution out here, and right now, field already starting to separate and enhance their way around. I always said trucks are the short run, but the fast and furious of races, the next gen cup cars, they are the long run sanctuaries. They are the force your line and force your sights kind of style. And in total, we're looking at about a 2-hour broadcast in this one here, with the way things should play out and the way they should race it out here on the show. Not too bad, in my opinion, honestly, considering that these drivers are forcing their hand. They're really making everything they got with this one. Lingering their way right through the field right now. The BLM number 23 and Charles Van Schaik still trying to hound up on that 44 Christoph Hall, bringing out the Old Spice Gillette schemed up machine today. Van Schaik, man, look at this. He's in such a good run off these entries and into those exits, but man, he just cannot get a pass going. Again, though, they don't have any instant repairs, guys. So remember that they don't want to make too much of a mess of themselves. They don't want to give up too much early on. But when you open up the doors like that, there is one thing for sure: you're not getting away that easily. And Charles Van Schaik making Christoph Hall pay for that. Looks like the right rear and the right front may have took a little bit of tearing and wear up on the 44 cam. So too much wear and tear, and you have nothing to really to gain or give anymore. That seems to be the case with Dakota Kramer too, as Cody Sturgill now moves his way up. Charles Van Schaik, very interesting strategy here. Instead of thinking the bottom goes top side here to make his move, this is the pass now coming for turn number 1 and 2. Outside line very favorable here in turn 1 and 2, and definitely in 3, and especially in 3 and 4 as well. 1 and 2 on the inside, though, you can get a little bit of a fight back there, but your drive off the exit, well, let's just say not quite the same situation. Charles Van Schaik, though, man, talk about saving them tires and just letting everybody else wear themselves in. Van Schaik really making a big drive off here. He's already coming forth to the field. You want to tell me now that they can't make any passing here at Richmond? This is a good idea of, yeah, you can. This is where that strategy came in. This is what I was telling you guys about earlier. This is a great track for strategy racing. It's maybe not so much for always giving the fender and making for some wild moments or seeing drivers get extremely loose here, but it is a good track for strategies. And how much you wear and thin that car up. Dalton and Scott Simley still at each other's throats here right now. Lap 28 was where we had kind of left off on that for the overall run. Simley, though, you can see every lap, every time, it has not given Dalton any room. Looking down on the inside here, he's trying to get a run. He's trying to get the car to take a set really as quick as he can, while at the same time trying to push the 19 to drive a little bit harder so he makes a mistake, and then it opens the door up either to the outside or the inside. But he's not getting very many runs here right now. Michael also saying he's ready for Friday night here. He's talking about our little announcement we have yet to reveal. I will not spoil too much for you. I was told not to spoil too much about the Friday night stuff coming up, so I'm kind of waiting on that here. But we are here on the Saturday night edition here currently as we watch on Simley. Look at this, coming up quick, coming up fast. He's forcing Dalton, man. It's the first time I've seen Dalton really almost kind of vulnerable, if you will. Sidley may have found a track that might be able to get Dalton on his toes here. By pitting right now, he's got him locked in and he's got him loaded up for a big bump and run if he so dares. Laps continue to fold up and fold down. Simley is not leaving Dalton's side here. Dalton needs to stay focused and keep an eye out for him, but not let his own line become affected by this. Michael saying cue the Jaws music. I don't think this requires the Jaws music. I think this is more like just an intensified, almost like an anime music right now. Look at this inside look. There he goes. Now we were looking for it. He got an opening. Now can he make it stick? Yes, he can. Coming down through 1 and 2. Simley drives it in deep. And the Heineken, number 7, forces the 7,500 number 19 to the back. We have a new leader. That is expert marksman driving right there by Simley to make Dalton force himself up just a little bit. Wait for the right time to strike. Absolutely beautiful driving by both guys. Simley outrunning Dalton just a little bit, but now is Dalton playing possum and giving him a fresh sense of hope? Is he giving him a secure sense for just a minute? If he is, he's definitely making everybody put on notice because he knows he can outrun a lot of these drivers. He's been one of the fastest guys before. But I'll tell you right now, Simley still looking for that first win of the season. This one would be a big one if he can pull it off. And I guarantee you, he is not letting up on anybody. I don't think he really cares if he shows his hand early. Well, here's another guy we talk about a lot. I don't know his name again. Jack Coleman? I don't know. I think I've talked about it before. All jokes aside, Jack Coleman, he's another driver that we've talked a lot about for the fact of last season just absolutely tormented the late half of the season. Even in playoff territory where drivers were pushing their luck and their limits to the extreme. Aaron Axton Jackson was one of them, but fell short of Phoenix. Charles Van Schaik would be the winner after just outsmarting and outrunning the entire field. Jackson told me earlier this week that he said, I have not had a single really good race. It's time I changed that. Well, he's doing a great job right now with this one. Richmond might be that track to do it on. So far, so good here. Still looking for an inside. There's still about 200 laps left to go in this race. Coleman trying to avoid Jackson, but you can see this is what I was talking about earlier, is that once you get locked up with somebody, then it becomes more of a just hold on for the best, hold on for the moments kind of race. And here comes Jackson. Oh, it's a beautiful pass entering into turn number 3 and 4. Textbook by the action man himself. Aaron Jackson is your new third place runner. Ran that bad boy in the right time, in right place, and you can hear the throttle rhythm still using exactly the way he wants it to. USAL number 15, or the USAL Ford Mustang of Joe Hudson. He's been watching on throughout this entire one so far. Remember, he qualified in the 4th spot today. He hasn't really looked back at all, but again, is he kind of playing a more slow burning strategy? I wonder. That's something I kind of need to know for later on, because honestly, if he is, he's playing it very carefully and playing it very, very trickily. And you can see too what tire wear will do to you on a track like this. You can see the 6, Cameron DeRue, having troubles all over the place. Oh, and speaking of almost having troubles all over the place, they're running right into Russell Ottaway. Backs off though. Maurice Burnett though. No such containment. The 3G number 8 Camaro jumping in. The Castrol GTX number 6 just cannot give room like that up. Ryan D. Cook. Uh-oh, hold on. Ryan D. Cook down there. We got problems on the track. The number 10. As he's trying to get the Budweiser 10 refired and trying not to get that caution to pop out. He is slow on the pace. No caution yet. I'm not too sure what happened though. Looked like turn number 4 might have bit him there. I think he's got a left front wheel broken right now. They're currently trying not to get that caution out. He's trying to hurry to pit road, it looks like. If he can get it to pit road, we'll be okay. Yes, he will. We'll be all right to continue on. But let's take a look at the P-Team Race TV instant replay. And it looks like he was going for pit road. Looks like he ran into some troubles down there. Makes a pass around Chad Coleman. Comes right here. Look at this. Gets aggressive. You can see what these drivers are feathering the throttle for earlier. That's what I was talking about. Bam! Right into that nose. The front of the hood just taking a good little chunk there. Really, the car didn't take damage, but I guarantee you that driver cockpit, he didn't appreciate that hit very much. Damage on the number 10. That'll put him into pit road for a little bit longer here. Richard Crane moving ahead of him now by about 2 laps. And from pit roads as well, Maurice Burnett, Alan Wild, the Wild Man, Richard Crane as well. They have all headed into pit road here right now. The field has currently started to shrink down in terms of on the lead lap. Pressure is on right now. Russell Ottaway comes outside. Cars up into the wall protection. Not a good spot to do it at. Cameron DeRue capitalizing on that. Ottaway, man, this Sweetwater 89 just can't seem to catch a break no matter what I do on the broadcast. When I try to talk good about him, I talk good about him, and then all of a sudden bad things happen, or he now is apparently creating bad things. Cameron DeRue gets clipped in the back, and that may be some short track tempers coming up. I don't know. On the screen right now is the best lap times of the day so far. And currently the fastest time is sitting at a 22.63. If you couldn't guess who that was, it was Scott Simley being out Tyler Dalton by a 100th of a second. Ottaway right now, he's all over the place. And again, usually I don't try to refer to one fast time as being the sole reason that one driver is better than the other, but you got to understand something. Dalton had a great opportunity to keep Simley behind him, and then Simley just kind of found a way to over-ramp him and overpower him and took control of that. Major battle right now in lap traffic. Cameron Drew and Russell Ottaway still not leaving each other alone. We got about 40,000 in attendance today here on the show. Thank you all so much here in Richmond, Virginia for tuning in to the Go Racing League Next Gen Cup Series. And a big thank you to all those tuned in on our P-Team Racing TV, YouTube, and Facebook channels. Whether you're watching on YouTube, replay, or Facebook Live, we thank and appreciate you for tuning on in. If you guys haven't already, like and follow us up on our Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube. We have many more great shows coming your way this season and this year. Speaking of season and year, Philip Smith's and the 18 Interstate batteries changing it a year or two. He's bringing me back to the late 1990s, early 2000s with this scheme up today. I always love that old school scheme, the old Interstate batteries look. That's a bad car right there. I love the look of it though. Yeah, he's got Dakota Kramer right now currently trying to hunt him down back a few spots and a few notches, but Schmitz right now is after one other thing, and that's that Gillette, number 44, Christoph Hall. Hall gave a lot of room up earlier and gave plenty of openings right now, trying to take control of it, as Kramer right now struggles to keep it on the bottom lane of the track, right side of the tires, maybe wearing and tearing up too much, and he might have tore up a little bit too much to hang on. You can just see right now from our cams right here how far everybody has fallen either from grace or fallen out of disrepair. Good news for them though is one more lap to finish that out right. And this is the first time I can say it, but man, race fan Scott Simley, this race has taken control of the turn number 3 to turn number 4. Simley looks to be the man to beat. He's your stage winner here at Richmond. Stage number 1 belongs to the number 7 Ford Mustang of Scott Simley, the Heineken machine, bringing a few Heinekens with him and telling the other ones to drink up your own stuff because he's got his tonight. What a performance there on stage number 1, and again, we're only just beginning this race entirely. Stage number 2 still about to come your way here, race fans. A lot of intrepidation and a lot of craziness mixed in between. Great side-by-side battles, though, when we got them, and a lot of connections and tough competition to bring to it. So, also, let's take a look right now at our additional tire sets here. They got 4 total, 3 additional sets from the first 4 they have on them. 240 laps to the distance, 60% fuel mileage on these cars. And then also, while we're at it, stage number 2 going to be at lap number 30. So that will be how we play out our field today. Well, all those that got lapped down, they're going to try to get themselves off that lap and try to get their lap back. This will be an interesting strategy here. It's being parked up. Tyler Dalton immediately going to try to jump in before Simley. He's got the first stall. That might be an advantage here, but he needs to hurry up and get that car out of here. He's yelling at his pit crew, get me going, hurry up. No time for that. Simley will beat him out. Charles Van Schaik, the BLM number 23, going to bring it out 4th. Aaron Ashton Jackson going 5th. 6th, Coleman. And 7th is Joe Hudson. Well, 6th out of pit road, I should say, not 7th entirely. That was Cody Sturgill that was actually taking his positions over. Right, Richard Crane right now trying to hurry in. And Charles Van Schaik back at pit road here. Not sure, maybe he's got a speeding penalty down there or what went wrong, but the BLM number 23 is already back in pit road here, folks. Try to keep an eye on him real quick, see what we got going on. Looks like he may be taking some more fuel, or he's going to have... Oh, no, he's taking right side tires on there. He's taking another set of tires. I don't know, maybe he took tires or not. If he missed tires going into pit road, then that might have been a bit of a mistake here. But he is for sure now golden on that, I can say that much. Because we actually saw him put all 4 tires on. Well, green flag back on out here, race fans, and we're going to set them on down. Caution is out, though. Trouble for Russell Ottaway. The 89 is in the wall protection. Looks like maybe just got himself a little bit crossed up here. See here, looks like some smoke coming from the front of the pack here. Looks like somebody might have got tagged in there, but Russell Ottaway definitely no tagging for him his end. He just got himself trapped in his own little spot there. Slamming in the wall there off of the front straightaway, unfortunately, and turn 4 bites the 89. So, looks like both my predictions here so far have been a bit out off of the table here. Here's where that smoke came from. Look at Maurice Burnett. Had to spot that thing on a dime there, trying to get it away from Christoph Hall. Ottaway thought he had speed, but then the car said nope. Threw him right into the wall protection. Thankfully, he is okay, but I have to believe probably a little bit more frustrated than anything else. Well, definitely pressure is now kind of thrown a little bit more into their face and more onto their shots here. Like I said, guys, this wasn't real. Like I said earlier, that turn 4, I thought honestly coming a little later would really make things a little bit more interesting, but seems as though their troublesome spots have gotten themselves into more of a mess than they had realized. Now they got to recenter, repoint, and refight. Russell Ottaway trying to hurry back up on some laps, but I don't think he's going to get a time or two to get that going again. Brett Lowe, good evening, he says, and Brent, great to have you back on board here today, sir. Great to hear from everybody that's tuned on in with us today. Back to the green flag. Let's let him rip again. Simley dropping down low rather quickly here compared to what we've seen out of him usually. I think he's trying to get Tyler Dalton and Jack Goldman to ruffle up some feathers on themselves and slow them back out in the pitch and back out in the fight. Good thinking there by Simley. Forced him to fight. He can get away from him quicker. Coleman, though, already looking at that strategy, doesn't like it. Problem for Coleman, though, is he's giving Jackson a lot of room to make some moves here. Close corner jump across the nose there of the 35 to the 12. And listen to that throttle rhythm again. You hear him feathering it right as he comes on and off the exit. And again, he has to do that to not have what Russ Ottaway just did earlier. As you can see the rear end, it wants to kick out underneath him. That car does not want to go. It wants to slide out and it wants to push him to his limits. It's caused him to really have to question every little spot, every little turn. That's why you don't see a whole lot of passing right out of the gate. When they gotta drive a lot harder, they'll drive a lot harder. But again, tires being as cold as they are, and also the way these cars react and they handle, they have to be a little bit more aware and suspicious of how they make their moves and how they make their jumps. Oh, remember what I said earlier about the shifting in, where some drivers were shifting and some weren't? Christoph Hall is shifting in and out. This is what I was talking about earlier. Instead of being in 5th gear, he's going to off to 4th gear. He's trying to get a little bit more speed, a little more power ramped up. And it does work to an extent. You can see him clambering in quickly on Philip Schmitz. Schmitz is letting him have plenty of room to open up to. You know, one thing I've kind of noticed too that I have now started to really feel since driving these cars, and then driving a car that I've actually really enjoyed, which is the Toyota GR86, I have to say they are very similar in terms of how the car reacts in terms of everything else. The drafting, though, on the next gens are much better, but without that snap lock steering these next gen cars have, I'd say they're pretty close to the way the Toyota GR86s are in terms of if you make a mistake, how quick can somebody come up and catch you? Versus like normally driving like a super late model or a late model or even a street stock. Because with those, usually if you get loose or you get in trouble, you can pretty much catch your speed back up. You can really catch your speed back up a lot quicker. These cars in those Toyota GR6s, absolutely not. You make one mistake or one little move there, and that flanks you a lot more and a lot worse, and it really pushes yourself in there. Field working their way around off the track and into the playing field, still nowhere to go. Plenty of time to be had though. Right now Coleman watching on as he sees the battle going between Simley and Dalton starting to ramp up. But remember, Coleman tried earlier and is not successful. You can just feel the power and the momentum these guys carry through into these turns and in these corners. We're looking for lap 130. I got about 45 laps remaining before we can touch that. Simley now, driving it onto the front straightaway. You still got plenty of momentum and plenty of room, but again, driving as close as he is and as far as he is away from Dalton and Coleman behind him, as he kind of exposed himself and giving him a little bit too much room. Cameron DeRue lap down, trying to get his lap back. Sammy Harrell falling further and further back. And Cameron right now, honestly, probably Anything kind of caught himself a bit of a more issue of apprehending every driver versus like trying to stay completely cool and neutral with himself. Cody Sturgill currently ahead here in the lead lap territory. He's in 10th place, but Alan the Wild Man Wild ahead of him here. And the Commander number 22, last time we saw him, he looked like he may have something going for him there. Unfortunately, though, would fall just a little bit short. Ron Holyfield finally had to get himself a win in a much needed time, as he had mentioned and alluded to us. That whole home day for him and his team and his family, especially. Cody Sturgill, though, really having probably one of the worst lucks in terms of not getting caught or trapped in a bad break or a bad spot throughout this entire season. Dakota Kramer right now is out of the race essentially here. Something going wrong down there for the number 42 OnlyFans car. Not too sure what went wrong or what is going down out there, but it looks like he will not be really able to return to the track. Tyler Dahl right now, honestly, my opinion, I think this has probably been the closest he's been in terms of keeping his pace, keeping his distance. But this is honestly probably one of his more harder races I think he's going to have to face, because right now he's being outclassed by Scott Simley. I know Simley's a good driver, but I mean, we look at what Dalton's done most this season. This is the first time we've seen him really be vulnerable in terms of nothing really having to go wrong his way today. Extremely interesting to see. Chad Coleman, we know he's always one of those fast cats that knows how to put up a fight and put a punch or two on the track, but has not been successful today in terms of making any progressive moves to the front. He's just stayed in third and really kind of hanged around there until Aaron Jackson kind of comes crawling around to town. A lot of power here from Aaron Jackson here, just using that momentum, using the key runs to his advantage. Again, he looks for the straights to really build the speed up, has to make sure it's stable on the exits and then ramp up the power. Again, somebody always told me these cars kind of drive like a dirt car in terms of how they run. I always kind of said they're more like a sprint car to a non-winged car in terms of how loose they can get. Because you really are kind of fighting the car in the rear and you're really just kind of chasing it in the front. These are rear-wheel drive cars, yes, but they're extremely powerful and hard to handle. Granted, they only are 670 horsepower machines. Sneaking his way around the inside. The 44 Kristoff Hall making some headways, but Cody Sturgill making a fight back into the pack. Murray Burnett, the number 8, fall from grace here for his camp. Gone, set 4 spots down. He started in 7th, falling into the 11th. Yeah, that's not something usually you see from him. Usually he's a little bit more power on the base and power on the nose, but today it seems like that is not the case here. Philip Schmitz and Charles Van Schuyck, though, way ahead of the curve. Started in 14th. Currently in 7th, started in 13th, and starting in 6th, Charles Van Schuyck. Yeah, you guessed it, both drivers are 7 up right now from their starting position to where they're at right here. Kramer's still in pit road right now, saying he's trying to get the car back on out. Richard Crane for sure is out of this one. Ryan D. Cook also in pit road. I don't know if he'll be able to return after the damage he suffered there. We are nearly halfway done with this one though, folks. And to be honest, it's been a very very stable race. It's just been a very long form, kind of wait out, let the race kind of come to you. This isn't one of those keep it close, keep it tight, and just watch the speeds kind of fly race. This is a strategy-based race. Again, we talk about it again. But this is the kind of race where you can't be making mistakes, you can't be opening the doors up. And as long as you stay under control and stay cool, the passing will come when you need it, and the speeds are there to make some incredible little moves and incredible little drive-offs here. In my opinion, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, only one true caution today, but that was not a stage caution. That came from Muscle Autoway. Closing up the gap, challenging up those that are ahead of him. Joe Hudson, the USAL machine right now trying to see if maybe there is a room for three. Hudson finding himself some groove, finding himself some room. Jackson trapped on the outside, battling back on the inside. Hudson almost getting together there a little bit off turn number 4. Fenders nearly put together. Jackson stripped it up high and back underneath, trying to get to Hudson, probably trying to give him a little bumper for payback there. Both guys keep it clean though. Hudson will drive it along. Jackson falling from further grace. He's probably thinking about the overall long run scenario. Doesn't want to tear up the equipment or get himself cut a tire or any issues like that. Caution's out though. Samuel Harrell goes for a little spin here in stage number 2. Second caution of the day. And not before we were able to get into the stage break here. So let's take a look at the instant replay. Yeah, it's got in front of Cody Sturgill there, and that was what caught the caution out. Looked like just may have drove it a little bit off of the turn number 2 there. We'll take one more look at it. He's in third gear too, kind of surprising here. Then some drivers running it in 4th, some running it in 5th on that corner, but he's running 3rd gear, so it looks like to me he's actually shifted his gears around a little bit. But I can tell you one thing, that car did not agree with that turn. So the field frozen up a bit. Samuel Harrell, Aaron Jackson, Christoph Hall head to pit road. The rest of the field also looking on, trying to see their line, see their sights. Well, Scott Simley, without a doubt, today so far has absolutely impressed me. I'm not trying to give him too much hype, though, because, again, I know my broadcaster curse has always done something to one of these drivers, so if I gotta get one of them, I gotta get all of them, so at least I know that doesn't ruin anybody's end there. Jack Ullman, though, been consistently top 5 material, only falling back to 4th, I believe, once today. Looking to try to keep that hope and dream alive and keep the pressure on. Pressure's on now. Double file back in. We're getting ready for the restart. Stage number 2 now, lining our field back up. Simley, Dalton, Coleman, Hudson, Schmitz, Scheich. Your top 3 rows. In the distance zone, back to the green. And Simley yet again, driving it high, then throws the block. Tyler Dalton can't be too happy about that. Trying to maybe get a little bit more aggressive here. Look at Simley though, man. Just get that gap right out of the way and get out of the speed there. Hudson moving back into 4. Van Scheich moving into 8 spots up. Aaron Jackson now making a bit of a run here, and Sammy Harrell, despite that little spin, it looks like he's not having troubles. I don't think this is a turn. At least it's not turn 4, so you can't call him out on that one there. Yeah, it's not 2015, so I think we're okay here, boys. Running it right down to the bunch. So look at Jackson. My goodness. Aaron Jackson literally just cutting through the field left and right. Oh, until he gets a little bit loose off of turn number 2. But this is fresh set tires, not 12 right now. Oh, look at this. 3 wide off of turn number 4. And Samuel Harrell getting the better run off than Jackson did. But Jackson going to get the inside run. He clips it underneath. Dalton trying to hold him down. Dalton getting crossed up. Oh, Harrell gets even more crossed up. He got really chatted in there. That might be a little bit of a thing for watching out for. Jackson had nowhere to go, but Dalton was kind of forcing him. And then Harrell, he was just kind of just the monkey in the middle and got thrown into the wolves. Aaron Jackson is hunting this entire field down, but so is Samuel Harrell. Scott Simley, I don't mean to warn you, sir, but you've got company coming off of turn number 4. Jackson maneuvering through the field right now, looking on, trying to find a run on the Heineken number 7. Simley looking to hold it down. Jackson driving it hard off of turn number 2, straight to the inside. Jackson looks for the run. He's playing solo tonight because he's got the race lead now in Richmond. We have a new leader. Harrell not far behind though. You can see the gap starting to shrink. Simley trying to fight him back. Simley was not anticipating the fresh set of tires being taken by Jackson, nor from Harrell. But Simley is still, give him credit where credit's due, he's still hanging on. That's something, though, that if you are a Harrell or a Jackson right now, you best be concerned about, because that just tells you one thing. He has speed, and he has momentum. He could use it on them both. Jackson, though, just completely taking this one up a notch. Harrell still trying to catch him. Probably not too thrilled about being cut down there on the backstretch a minute ago, but we're down to the final 10 laps here at stage number 2. Doesn't look like there's any damage sustained on the right front of that 43, but again, I can't really tell too well there. Kind of hard to tell. Meanwhile, back in the pack right now, Charles Van Scheich, after trying to make some moves here up to the front, then getting completely clamored by the 12 and the 43. He's now found himself right in the mix with Coleman and Hudson. And if you recall right, it was only Van Schaik and Jackson that were your two winners here for a good source in this season so far. But now that Ron Holyfield has entered his name into the fray, now it becomes the ultimate pressure and the ultimate tactic to try to hang in there. Chad Coleman, Joe Hudson right now keeping speed up a notch or two, trying to work their way around. Coleman still lingering it through. Just a few more laps left. Coleman trying to hang on. This field right now absolutely intensifying up a bit and really pushing their pressure up. Coleman, hang on, give him a little room. Man, that's how close these cars get. Oh yeah, by the way, they get as close as they are right now, and they're currently holding speeds of over 140 miles per hour just on a nearly 3/4 mile track. Yeah, that's a lot of speed if you couldn't figure that out, by the way. I can barely go 120 on a straightaway on the highway here, let alone trying to take that into a turn. Man, right now Charles Van Schaik, he gets the opening and takes control. Coleman falls back. Van Schaik now moving it into 6th. Philip Schmitz looks like he's now going to try to make a run for it on Coleman here, trying to see if there's any gaps or any openings he can get. Gathering his wits, gathering the momentum. Again, that right rear and that right front currently, the one tire, he's trying to work his butt off to keep away from burning up too quickly here. Again, the way they steer and counteract each other with the car, the right rear does take a lot more abuse and a little bit more punishment, allowing for the drivers to really stay cool, a bit more under pressure. But then you got to think about just also that single lug nut and how hard it is just to get it to dial in and really stay focused on the edge there. Schmitz into the wall protection there off turn number 4. And the interstate battery is 18 right now. Looks like he may be falling back just a little bit more here. Final 2 laps coming up. Aaron Axton Jackson. Unbelievable here, race fans. And Harrell can't be too happy of a camper, knowing that he had a good chance to take the lead and everything else. Scott Simley, though, probably at this point knows he hanged with those guys on fresher tires, and he's been on burn heads. When they go back into pit road and they start to look at the strategies here, they may be looking very carefully at everything else. Well, here we go, going through. We've got 2 different stage winners now in this one, race fans. Your stage number 2 winner, he'll bring it off turn number 3 to turn number 4. Action Man's in the house. Aaron Action Jackson returns to the stage winner circle. Past halfway done, and now a golden opportunity for that number 12. Aaron Action Jackson making a great deal of raw power and speed with raw cunning to hang with it. We now turn our attention to the final stage here, which means it's time to bring out, time to take away the Tower of Doom, I should say. And we're going to bring out the longboard here. Pit stop's now going to be extremely crucial. Let's see how this one plays out. Harrell, Harrell, Sibley, Dalton, Hudson, Schaik, Coleman, Schmitz, Sturgill, DeRue head to pit road now. We'll take it to our blimp cam here. We'll see if we can give you guys an inside look on how long and how far this could go. Pit road, Jackson out first. Did he even take, I didn't think he just took fuel down there.
Scott Simley out second. Tyler Dalton coming out third. Hudson fourth. Van Schaik will be in the fifth spot. Yeah, just feel for Aaron Jackson. All fours for Simley, Dalton, Hudson, Van Schaik, Coleman, Sturgill, Andy Rue. Burnett also all fours. Christoph Hall. Well, let's say it was a little bit late to the party out there out of pit road. Sam Morrell also pretty late out of pit road too. Looks like he had a little bit of troubles there. Definitely lost a lot of time, a lot of ground. Now he's going to try to figure that out again here. Well, we have now exited our stage. Brakes. Now comes the long run. An intense lineup of drivers, an intense field here, ready to duke it out for just 100 laps more. Well, here we go, race fans. Final stage time. It's time to go racing here on Pizza Racing TV. If you're not down with that, then we got to put the pedal to the metal just a little bit more for the first half. Simley has already jumped way ahead of the field. Dalton going to hunt him down. Hudson, for the first time today, gets to have a chance in the third spot. Everybody's all had a little piece of the pie, a little piece of the cake here. Christoph Hall right now currently in the top 10, still hanging around where he was at earlier on. The Gillette 44 trying to stay with the number 8 of Maurice Burnett. This is the first time the 3G Camaro has been relatively in this predicament, this position, considering how far he's fallen from Grace a few times today. Maurice Burnett desperately needs to keep power up and keep his momentum up a little bit just to hang with these guys. They've jumped so far ahead of him, and he's really made too many mistakes. He needs to start figuring it out now. And you just know, too, these drivers, they now know the long run is ahead of them, so they're not going to hold anything back, and that's exactly what we're getting out here at the show. Well, the dryers may be cranking, but I think it's about time we get this cranked up a little bit more. Race fans, you know what time it is. Turn up the speakers, hit the long volume up. Let's crank it up. Well, you guys know as well as we do, when you get on the show, you get on the track, you gotta crank up a little bit on this tack. Reese Burnett, Phyllis Smith right now back and forth with one another, trying to outdo and outmuscle the other here, battling up to the front here. Aaron Axton Jackson also having his little skirmish there with Christoph Hall and Philip Schmitz as well. Every driver for themselves here. Alan Wild right now currently trying to get ahead of Russell Ottaway to keep him the lap down that he needs him to be to stay in his own driver's spot. But right now, probably not too worried about it. I wouldn't be really worried about it either, honestly, considering he's about 3 laps down from you, my friend. Aaron Jackson, though, giving some room to Schmitz here. And again, Jackson made a heck of a charge there on those fresh sets of tires. But right now, that set of tires he was using not wearing too well for him right now at this moment. Remember, he only took fuel in pit road. I think he was hoping that extend out that length on the run, that hopefully when he has to go into pit road, he may be able to make a run, maybe able to make a drive off there for it and keep the pressure on. Well, earlier on I said 22.63 was the fastest time. Well, now that's got to get thrown out the window because somebody decided to throw a 22.39 on the track. You can probably guess who. Scott Simley, 22.39, the fastest driver right now in the field. And unsurprisingly, in this case, he is currently your leader of this race. His speed and power right now is exactly what he needs just to keep himself under control, keep himself in the momentum. Hoping for the brakes and hoping for the key objections here to take into this consideration. As long as he does not let up too much here, and he realizes the time and place to get into pit road, I think he may be okay here to really just kind of do this all himself. Sammy Hurrah right now, in my opinion, it looks like his lone saving grace there from pit road and those fresh set tires has now completely gone away from his end of the track. The car just looks like it's hurting too much. Cameron DeRue right now looking on a little bit, trying to hang tight, hanging down on the track here. Charles Van Schaik in the fast lane, BLM number 23, looking to make the most out of his day and the most out of his car here. DeRue, this is the first time we've seen him anywhere near this top 5 picture. He's currently in 6th, 9 spots up. DeRue trying to be the ultimate hard charger tonight. Van Schaik right now knew one thing was for sure, and he had to bring the speed to the table here. Every opening, every drive off the spot right now, starting to just increase and intensify more as it goes. Van Schaik, that's still no room for error here. The field just starting to really tense up a little bit more. I'm just kind of getting goosebumps here in the broadcast booth. You can just feel the intensity starting to really sway and tear up. And choosing the right time to go into pit road now, it's going to be extremely critical, in my opinion, to success or failure here. Remember, we saw drivers going in right near the end of stage 2. We saw drivers really kind of holding down their lines for most of stage 1. Stage 2, we've only had 2 crosses there, no crosses here in the 3rd stage. And that's pretty much been kind of the lengthy point of this one. Simley right now, let's take a look at his lap times here, and this is where Dalton has been. Remember earlier on, Simley was keeping his speed ahead of Dalton? Well, now this is the complete opposite. Dalton has only gained so much, and again, you can see how far back he is. He's 9 tenths of a second behind, and he's only getting hundreds. He's not getting tenths like we're so used to seeing out of the guys like of his camp. Simley somehow, some way has figured out how to run a mile in this thing. Look at this, 2 tenths of a second gained on that one that time by. Holy smokes. Remember what I said earlier about he was hanging with guys that were literally on fresh sets and tires? Yeah, that was what I was saying. I'm not kidding around when I say I think Simley might have found something here. But he's going to have to deal with Sammy Harrell, at least slowing him down slightly entering into the turn. Opens the door up, Harrell drops down low and gets it around. Cody Sturgill here, probably his best day he's had in a while here, currently holding it in its 7th position. Trying to linger it forward and just hang on down on the car here. You see how smooth he is too, and then how much braking he uses. But look at how smooth he just turns it in. Kind of feathers it, then back on the throttle, smooth off. Not too hard in the corner. And around we go. That's exactly what you need to do here to survive and conquer in this kind of playing field here. Crowd of over 45,000 attendance, I need to clarify, watching on as Cameron DeRue and Charles Van Schaik still keeping the pressure on. Tyler Dalton right now keeping just ahead of Joe Hudson. This is the best we've seen of Joe Hudson all season too. You got to keep reminding stuff about that. Just under 70 laps remaining here in the race too, folks. And right now, I mean, Hudson and Dalton kind of just keeping it cool right now. Kind of keeping the pressure out of their own heads here. But, I mean, Hudson, I mean, this is the guy that we've seen throughout this season, throughout this course. He has shown signs of brilliance, but has really yet to truly find and dish out some momentum here. This is a great day for him, though. If he can hang on and stay in third for the rest of this race. And right now, he's also putting a little bit of a fight on that 19 here. He's not exactly letting Dalton breathe very easily here. He's starting to give him a little bit of a pressure here. Never had the chance to race any of the guys here on the track, so I couldn't tell you firsthand from experience what they're like when it comes to racing out with one another, but I can tell you, you really got to be careful when they make too much of a break and too much for a thing. Field clamoring through. Hudson still closing the gap on Dalton. We got to keep the pressure on right now. Hudson well aware of that. And that's what happened to Dalton earlier. Got too much pressure on him and had less speed to use. The guy behind him was able to capitalize and make that run for it. Looks like Hudson, though, looks like he's starting to get a little bit pressured and a little bit annoyed. Looks like he wants to make a run for it here on that top side, then tries to go back on the bottom. He's not getting much room, or is he? There it is. There was the move he was looking for. It looks like looked like he finally got Hudson, got Dalton to cross him up, drops him on the top, and slams the gas into the inside. We've got a new second place spot. Wow, extremely impressive move there by Hudson to be able to take control when he needed to most. Aaron Jackson, 2 laps down, trying to hurry back. Makes his way around. Now through the field, Alan Wild in the way. Dalton losing more ground. He'll get a chance with Jackson having to move ahead of Hudson there. That just goes to show you what fresh tires will do for you too. Well, like we haven't seen this before here. Similarly, this time, what will he do? Will he try to block 12 of Jackson just a little bit longer to force him not to catch up so quick? Now, if he's not going, he's going to let him through. I mean, smart move there, but I don't know. If I'm Simley, though, in the back of my head, I'm a little bit annoyed, though, with what Jackson did earlier, but I think, honestly, that was probably the right move. Spotter definitely making the right call to Simley, saying, do not try to play anything too crazy here. Let him buy and just focus on yourself. Good move there. Now if the team gets the effort there and gives them the chance that they can when they go into pit road, that will certainly help their cause and help the situation out just a little bit further. Philip Schmitz currently moving in ahead right now to Christoph Hall. Schmitz right now trying to make a run up to him. Again, Christoph Hall right now really again is playing as smooth as can be. Not trying to find himself in too much trouble or in too much danger, but you can see he's braking a lot harder than Schmitz is. And he's a lot harder on the exits. Probably is feeling the pressure from Schmitz here. Oh, Schmitz, you can see him caving that thing in quickly. He's going to pit road. He is in the pit road. Tires and fuel coming up for the 18, I'm betting you. Joe Hudson actually starting to make a little bit of a dash up here. Let's take a look at our lap timer here. You can see he's actually got a couple of tenths of a second there. He got 3 tenths, then he got almost a full tenth, then he got another full tenth there on lap 185. Lap 188 wasn't so kind to him, but he did get a little bit more on lap 187. 186 to 187. I think I said 180. That was my bad there. I meant 186. Reese Burnett heading to pit road, so he'll force everybody to kind of make their move here. Simley kind of have to back down just a little bit, having to go the outside. Hudson, though, doesn't have to necessarily fall into the same rules and categories. Hudson right now, that USAL machine might have something here for Simley. I'm not saying he does. I'm just saying there's a chance. I think if I am Hudson right now, I'm looking very, very carefully at when I'm going to pit road and when Simley goes to pit road. He's far enough ahead where he can actually meet him in the middle and go right there with him. Or he's also in a spot or predicament where he's got his own choices. There are 50 laps remaining here at Richmond. Top 5 right now separated out by a good 7 seconds here. Jack Coleman farthest back here. Scott Simley. Joe Hudson, though, not having the same issue. Tyler Dalton, well, he's about 2.5 plus. He's about almost 2.5 seconds back of Simley right now. Charles Van Schaik, relatively in the 6-second category, struggling to keep speed up. To be 11:23, losing momentum the same way I lose momentum when I'm trying to overdrive these corners a little bit at Richmond. It happens to everybody. It's not just him. And this track is eating, tearing up him as well as the other drivers here without a doubt. Now only a half a second away. Hudson, look at his little bit of resurgence, what we saw with Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin in the spring race. back at this very same track last year on the in the actual NASCAR racing season. Could we get a deja vu moment, or will Hudson maybe pull off what Harvick was not able to do that day? Simley right now currently feeling like he's probably was in Hamlin's shoes and trying to hold down the line, trying to hold off. This is some absolutely brilliant strategy picked up here. Still a half second behind Simley right now, keeping the pressure on. Trying to force Hudson to make a mistake, and then Simley trying not to force himself into a mistake here. He's hoping for a break, hoping for a chance. You're not going to get a lot of chances over that 7. The Heineken machine has just been too good today. Another thing too, really, we look at the way these drivers are going around the track right now. I mean, how many laps they got left? Is it worth taking 4 sets or 2 tires? I wonder. Simley goes to pit road. Hudson will be our new leader. We're going to focus on Simley here. I want to see real quick, is he going to go for tires or is he going to go for just fuel? This is a very pinpoint move here. If he just takes fuel, he's going to have a lot of burnt tire. I'd say for him, probably the smartest move, take right sides and fuel and get out of there. See where it takes you from there. Cody Sturgill there at pit road. Let's watch the 7 here. He goes into pit road now. There's the right sides. Now will he take the lefts? He's taking all tires. He's taking all 4. Fuel and tires on him. Joe Hudson to pit road. Dollar on your race later right now. Charles Van Schaik, Jack Coleman, Cameron Dew also there. We'll watch Hudson. What will he do? Dalton is in pit road. Right sides for the 15. Will he take the lefts? Yes, he will. Left side's going on. All fuel and all 4 tires for the number 15. Tyler Dahl now heading in. Let's see what happens for him. If I'm Tyler Dahl right now, looking at that 40 lap marker, could right sides tires just work for him, you wonder? Scott Wrights. Does he take the lefts? He's going to need all the help he can get. Oh, he's going to take all 4 as well. Fuel under the hood. Charles Van Schaik, Jack Coleman. They stay out the longest now. They've got about 40 laps remaining here on the show. Charles Van Schaik slowing up. Oh, and Simley. Oh! Charles Van Schaik looked like he was going for pit road. He missed his mark, and that just gave Simley a lot more room now to breathe. Hudson now jumping it in there. Hudson, you can see he's trying to hunt down Simley. Did Charles Van Schaik try to go to pit road, or was he trying to? Yeah, he was going for pit road. He missed it. He missed pit road. Now he's going to be in a whole lot of trouble, if you ask me. Scott Simley trying to come back quick and trying to hunt him down. He's got about half a track now to get back to him. That was an extremely big mistake for Charles Van Schaik. Aaron Jackson right now looking to try to hang there with Simley, but you can just see the power is in the Simley camp. Jackson trying to strategize out a run on the 7, and it did not work out in his favor. So now looking to try to topple the top 5. Yellow flag though. Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. Russell Ottaway, you see him there in the corner of your screen. He's got a problem. He's on the outside wall at turn 3. And that was not what Charles Van Schaik or Jack Coleman wanted to see as they went into pit road. Van Schaik was actually the one that was in pit road. He just got out of pit road now. That was not what they wanted to see happen. Let's take a look at the replay. Ottaway was loose and he lost control of turn number 2. And once again, another week and another disappointing mistake for the 89 of Ottaway. Let's take one more look at it. Remember I said earlier, guys, I said turn 2 is going to be where most of these drivers are going to have problems going from that progressive turn into that straightaway. Well, there you go. This is exactly what I was talking about. And not only did it bite a driver, it bit at the worst time for all drivers. Jack Coleman now in pit road here. Charles Van Schaik right now gotta be furiously inflamed right now, knowing he is a lap down all because of one simple caution. Knew that he needed another good point stay in the books, but this will definitely not help his cause any. Aaron Jackson and Scott Simley. Earlier on, they had their little battle, but right now Jackson probably wishing that caution came out about 2 or 3 laps sooner and had a better chance at this one. He's on lap 174 tires, and he's got a guy that's on lap 198, 199, and 205 tires. Yeah, I do not envy being in Jackson's shoes right now. So here's how it looks right now. Cameron DeRue, Jack Coleman both went in right side, left side, all 4 tires, fuel for the both drivers. Lap 199 tires here for Tyler Dalton, 198 tires for Hudson, 174 for Jackson, and then lap 197 tires for Simley. You're probably wondering home, okay, why am I saying when lap and all that? Why tires? Again, you got to understand something. Remember what you saw Aaron Jackson do earlier. When he went through this entire field, same with Sammy Harrell, they went in on the caution lap, took the tires, and then proceeded to drive through this entire field in a matter of laps. I think it was like 5 laps at most before they went from like 7th or 8th to the lead or 2nd place. This is the struggle we talk about, is the dealing with fresh tires, the pressure you face in terms of scope and control. Momentum will be key here. Your field of drivers now set to reel them back in, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Once more, to the green flag we wave. Simley will lead them down. Oh, Hudson into the wall, slam dash into turn number 1. Hudson, I don't know what on earth happened there, but that is really not what Hudson wanted to see. Doing so well for so long, and then all of a sudden to have it thrown out the window. What on earth happened to the number 15? We got to go to the replay real quick and take a look at that. That is absolutely heartbreaking to watch, but you just can't believe it until you see it. Take a look at the replay here. Watch that 15. They're still under green right now. Gets in the gas well. Oh, look at this. Tyler Dalton. He came down. I don't think he realized where Hudson was. My. A bit of a wild little shot there in the dark. Tyler Dalton usually not one to have situations like you would see that maybe Kyle Larson would throw in a Chase Elliott Auto Club once in a while, but this was definitely a bad scenario to have happen, especially considering how late in the run it is. Hudson cannot be a happy camper, and I don't blame him one bit. I would not be envying his shoes. Tyler Dalton falling further back into the field with that little hiccup there, as the rest of the field right now trying to charge up and trying to hang in there. Laps winding down, and the counter is starting to become a little bit trickier to figure out. Phil Schmitz right now trying to make it to the top 5. He hasn't been there in a while, looking to try to holster it up and bolster the speed at Aaron Jackson. Jackson, I guarantee, was hoping that it would stay green from where he was at the point of caution, only to be completely thrown to the wire. Michael saying 30 laps to go. Well, about right on that point. 25 laps remain. Schmitz looking for an opening, looking for more speed than Jackson. He's got a lot of run, but nowhere to pass just yet. Looking at him just screeching right into the inside. Jackson looking and just holding that line down though. Both guys, they know each other well, and they are throwing each other to the limelight here. Meanwhile, up ahead, Scott Simley was tested by Dalton and had to push Dalton to his limits. Now Chad Coleman looking to maybe throw the mark at Simley. And remember, Coleman, he's on 8-lap freshman tires. You may not think that's much, but that's a lot for these cars. You got to think about it for a second, the logistics of it. Having to run 5 hard laps and then 3 easy laps versus having all those laps back and having a chance to make a move for it. All you need is 1 lap just to make a pass. Simley well aware of that. And unless that right rear closed up a little bit and cooled down, he knows he's in a very tough ordeal here. Oh, by the way, Cameron DeRue somehow, some way back in this as well. 12 spots up. He was literally in almost dead last earlier on. And yet somehow this 6th camp will just not go away. Credit where credit's due. The Castrol GTX number 6 will not die out this one. Chad Coleman still trying to put the pressure on right now, trying to keep Scott Simley at bay, trying to keep him honest. Those laps, tires make a difference, and right now Simley well aware of that factoid. He's just hoping for a break, trying to see if maybe there's an opportunity again to get Coleman off of him. Coleman though, man, I tell you, if there's a guy that was hungry for a win, it's definitely this man. But Simley has been so close so far, so many times this season. He's just trying to make it for this one. You think back to the battles at Vegas, the battles he faced at Atlanta last week, the troublesome spots he's been in this entire season out on the track. All that much behind him. Coming down to the wire, Simley holding it down. drivers, man. They just will not give out. Coleman still trying to hang on. Simley trying to give himself some break, trying to give him some run. We're down to 14 laps. Race fans, this race is not over yet. Do the 8 laps mean much here for Simley? Coleman thinks so. But he is getting blocked and getting defended off at every corner. Simley out driving him. Coleman has more speed, let's not deny that, but Simley has been able to perfect the run. That's the rule of thumb. If you got more speed, then you really better know how to use it when and where. If I'm Simley right now, I'm just thinking, what? Don't give him any chances. If he gives you a bump, you best get back on that brake and block him and try to mess up his own run. Oh, there's a jump there. Simley got a good jump there. Great run exit off of turn number 2. Speed is high and the pressure is on. 11 laps to go. Look at the distance here between those two. You can literally fit less than a car length in there. That's about half a car length, if that. Now it's about a fourth. That's about a bumper and a tire there between Coleman and Simley. Coleman driving back. We're down to the final 10 laps. So far of all the short track racing we've seen, I gotta say this is probably one of our more climactic sequence of endings we've had in a while for the short tracks of the Next Gen Cup cars. And honestly, I am all for it. This is some awesome back and forth racing between these two. And again, Simley, you can see what he's doing. He's keeping Coleman right in the right spots and the right time in the right place. He's not overdriving. He's not underdriving. He's just blocking. He's just hitting his own marks while at the same time making sure he's hitting the marks Coleman wants to try to get a run on him. If Coleman had more tire, though, I guarantee you would have been able to pass Simley on the outside or have been able to overdrive him into turn number 2. You see turn 4, look at that. That right there, that just showed you what I'm talking about. Simley got right back on the gas and he got to the outside. He saw Coleman was going there, trying to reach for his move. He did not have enough time. Got him blocked in and caved around. Coleman is struggling to find any extra runs. Simley absolutely taking it to the wire with 7 laps to go for the 7 Heineken Ford Mustang. And look at this, the Toyota Camry of the 35 of Coleman, the rear end slipping out a little bit. He's overdriving now. He can't do that. He needs to stay focused. Maurice Burnett going to get out of the way for both drivers. Well, more so for the 7 here. Coleman had to close off just a little bit, slow down to avoid the 8. Now comes the pressure. We're down to the final 5 laps. 5, high 5 in the air from the flagman to the top boards. Simley has absolutely taken it to the wire. Taking it to his limits. Simley has absolutely taken this race by storm. White flag in the air. One more lap to go. What an unbelievable moment and race for him today. Chad Coleman not giving out, but I think it may be too little too late. Through turn 3 into turn number 4. The Heineken number 7 will finally do it. He's going to bring it to victory lane. Wow, 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 race fans. That wasn't a full-on beating and banging out of control race, but it didn't need to be. It was exactly what Scott Simley wanted it to be. The long drive and the long fight holds off 8 fresher lap tires from Coleman and fights it out with all the best drivers today. He proves, though, he is the man to bring it home. Scott Simley is your race winner. What a performance. Here is the race results here presented by Jack Racing Collectibles. This is how we play it out. Scott Simley finally gets one under his collar. Chad Coleman, he'll finish runner-up this time, but he didn't give an inch throughout. Cameron DeRue will bring it home for third. A great showing from him, considering everything else. Tyler Dalton, another top 5, and we'll hang on there for fourth. The 5th spot goes to Philip Schmitz. A good top 5 performance for him. Cody Sturgill getting 6th. 7 to Christoph Hall. Aaron Action Jackson had speed but couldn't get it to last. Goes 8th. Charles Van Schaik finding himself trapped in a few spots but manages to hold out for 9th. And a top 10 from Reese Burnett to hang through for the 10th spot today. Well, race fans, there is all but one thing left to do here. It is time to listen in to our top 3 drivers tonight. They will join me as followed here, race fans. Coming today in 3rd place, Cameron DeRue, making a great triumphant comeback from the rear end of the field to fight it out to the front. Cameron, congratulations on that here, and it looked like at times you were kind of peaking at Coleman and Simley, but didn't have enough speed there late in the run. But how was it feeling there to at least take home a 3rd place for this one?
Oh, it feels good, man. I'm happy. I didn't get a lot of practice in, so to get a top 5, let alone a top 3, that's a good day.
It's a good day indeed. Now, I know you really fell back early and then almost looked like you got thrown a lap down or two. I mean, how were you even able to get this car to stay controlled and really at that shot here?
It got better as the race went on. It was real snappy, loose in the beginning, and then at the end of the race, it was tight. So really, only way I would have been able to catch up to the 35 and the 7 is if I overdrove it, and I wasn't trying to do that because I was afraid a caution would come out. So I was trying to save a little bit of tire, but all in all, it was just being patient with it, letting it just do its thing. That's all.
Well, you let it do its thing, and you let it really dig in for the last bit. As you come away today for the 3rd place finish, who do you want to thank for all this one?
Well, thank you for broadcasting. Thank the GOAT and Sim 500 guys for putting it on, and everybody who tunes in and watches us, all the drivers who come out and be a part of it. Appreciate all of them.
Absolutely. Cameron, man, congratulations on a 3rd place finish today here, sir.
Hey, thanks, brother. We'll see you next week.
We will see you next week indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, Cameron DeRue going to take it on home for a 3rd place finish today. We'll take it down now here to the man that came close to taking this one home. 2nd place finisher today, Chad Coleman. Throws it to the wire and throws it to the field. And Coleman, man, he threw everything at Simley, but nothing stuck, unfortunately. He just kept getting you at every moment. What was going through your mind throughout this one?
Yeah, I got lucky. I kind of got gifted that spot. I was I wasn't good all night. I was hurting the right front tire a lot more than everybody else was for whatever reason is. And so after a couple laps, I was jumped, but I stayed out right there and was going to run it out of gas. And it was probably about 3, 4 laps before I have to pit. The caution came out, so we were stuck out there with a little better tires than everybody else. And that's the only reason I was able to stay that close with him.
Well, I may have been able to stay close with him, do with a little bit of luck, but I mean, there was no luck actually almost getting some chances at that race lead. But had you had a little bit of fresher tire, I mean, would you maybe try to put the boots a little bit more to him, you think?
Nah, Scott's always raced me really clean, so there's a couple of times where I had runs at him and I didn't force the issue right there. I know. I think he's going, or plans on anyway, running for points in the rest of the series. And I can't. My schedule won't allow me to be here on Saturday nights, unless something out of the ordinary happens. So we raced hard right there, and raced hard and raced clean. He beat me.
Well, we really appreciate having you on when we can get you here, Coleman. You're still going to bring it home for another podium today here. So to add to your career, who do you want to thank you for all this one today?
Thank everybody with excuse me. Thank everybody with Goat Sim Racing, Charles and everybody for giving us a place to race on these nights, and thank everybody that was on the channel with us tonight. I think is me and Scott, and I think Tyler and Joe was down there too. Joe probably had one of the better runs that I've probably ever seen him have in a sim race. He was really good tonight, and just had some unfortunate luck right there at the end. But and of course, thank you for broadcasting.
Absolutely, Coleman, man. Congratulations out here on the track today.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Jack Coleman, ladies and gentlemen. He brings in a few particular spots, but not the spot that this man's going to take home tonight. Scott Simley is going to finally get one down and done here tonight. Simley, man, what a performance and what a drive from point A to point B. Not only did you outdo Tyler Dalton there in stage one, but then you also hang with guys that are on burnt tires there for stage number two as you get passed up even. But then this final stage, you had to go to war with Coleman for I'd say about 20 laps or so before you finally were able to catch a break and then hang tight. I mean, what does this win mean to you, and how did it feel to finally punch this one into victory lane?
Yeah, it feels good. I lost one on Saturday night in probably lost it on pit road. So I was hoping I wasn't going to give two away, but yeah, we got this one. It feels good. It's fun to race Chad and Tyler and yeah, it felt good. I really like Richmond. It's always been good to me as far as how I race the track, but I've just always had bad luck and usually getting caught up in something else or get tangled up in somebody else's mess, so I don't really get a chance to see where I finish. So it feels good to get a good clean finish and get some good clean runs in tonight. It was it was a lot of fun.
Definitely a big finish here and a big run from point A to point B. And now, Simley, I know, like you just said a minute ago, you've had a few kind of given away from you. I mean, with all the struggle and all the heartbreak, do you think that was kind of led you to this this proper moment, this proper win for you and this team?
I hope so. I hope it keeps going. Yeah, we've had some luck lately, which obviously, if you have got luck, you always have a chance to have better finishes. So, yeah, you know, it was a good night for us. The tire wear was really good. I was afraid that I was going to burn that right front up, but um, I made a few changes before the race. I didn't get a lot of practice in, but I made a few changes that worked well for us, and we were able to conserve the tires a lot. And I think that was big. First couple runs, I think, I was even pulling on Tyler. Tyler's staying closest to me all night, and but seemed as we put rubber down, Tyler seemed to stay closer to me, and his wear was getting better. So I don't know if that was the rubber, or if he just made changes to his line, or following me. I don't know which that was, but yeah, it's just fun to race around these guys, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Simley, man, congratulations getting this win off your back finally. Who do you want to thank you for all this?
Yeah, Sim 500 in the Goat Racing League, Global Strategy. Again, everybody that comes out to race, and PTM, you guys for broadcasting. It's good to go back and take a look at them, and hopefully the fans like to watch the race.
Well, I'd say they like to watch some good racing, and I think they got it tonight with you guys. Scott, congratulations winning this one out finally here at Richmond.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Scott Semley, ladies and gentlemen, going to pull one off here into victory lane and take this one home tonight in Richmond. Big thank you to everybody for tuning on in, the Global Strategy Team and Jack Racing Collectibles for tuning on in. Race fans, this has been your broadcasting program for Saturday night, GOAT Racing League Global Strategy Team Next Gen Cup Series. We thank and appreciate you for tuning in. Stay tuned for the Truck Series Tuesday night. We'll see you then.